Billions of years ago, Lucifer attempted to lead a rebellion against God but was punished by being cast out of heaven and fell into hell. Archangel Michael then chained him to a large rock and left his own sword as a seal before departing. Lucifer vowed to return as an equal to God and over time gathered demons to help him plan his revenge while his worshippers built a villa around the hole through which he fell. Fast forward to the year 2022, and art historian Laura is studying in Italy with the intention of writing a thesis on how great Italian artists didn't truly believe in the angels and demons they portrayed in their works. However, her professor disapproves of her idea and even invites her to his apartment to discuss it, causing her to feel uncomfortable and flee. Shortly thereafter, Laura meets Father Marconi, who provides her with a special pass to access all exhibitions at his cathedral, including the new display of the Shroud of Turin, which contains Jesus' blood from his crucifixion. Marconi then gives Laura a tour of the cathedral and shows her a stunning statue of Michael defeating Lucifer. The two discuss the concept of evil, and Marconi leaves Laura to sketch the statue for her thesis. As Laura works on her sketches, she hears what seems to be someone calling her name but dismisses it as her imagination. Several hours later, the exhibition is about to close. As a raven flies around the building, it suddenly transforms into Liz, who sneaks past a guard and enters a restricted area. There, she watches Laura draw while passing by the corridor of statues. However, Liz's attention is drawn to Lucifer's statue head, which suddenly moves. This startles Laura, who then notices a raven at the window. Seizing the opportunity, Liz steals Michael's sword from the statue and leaves, but not before the guard mistakes Laura for the hooded intruder and then realizes his error. As the guard leaves, Laura notices Michael's hand, which was empty. Finding the front door locked, she searches for another exit and returns to the corridor only to witness Liz killing the guard and taking his head. In terror, Laura runs and hides in a confessional booth, from where she sees Liz disable the alarms with the guard's eyes and break the glass to steal the relic. Marconi tries to stop Liz, but she stabs him. Soon after, Liz's henchmen arrive to protect the relic. As they were leaving, Liz spotted Laura in a booth and instructed her men to capture her. After the group departed, Marconi, taking his last breath, prayed to Michael and asked him to use his body to prevent Lucifer from causing harm. Without delay, Michael descended from heaven and possessed the body of a priest to pursue Liz's group, who were departing in their car. Although Michael's angelic powers allowed him to move at great speed, the frail human body he inhabited could not withstand such immense power, forcing him to halt to prevent destroying the vessel. Meanwhile, a group of wealthy individuals watched as a prodigious child performed on the violin with remarkable skill. Following the concert, Dr. Lauren revealed that the child was a clone of Antonio Vivaldi, one of many famous names on a long list of clones produced by his company, which obtained DNA from graves. The cloned babies were then auctioned off to wealthy parents, and the current offer was a clone of Michelangelo. During the auction, Liz arrived to inform Lauren that they had obtained the shroud. Shortly thereafter, the group arrived at Lucifer Villa, where Lauren was elated to see the shroud, as it would allow him to clone Jesus. Meanwhile, Laura, along with Brenda and two other women, was chained up in a glass cell. Laura suggested that they should work together, but before they could formulate a plan, several nurses entered the cell to take vitals. Upon returning to the cathedral, Michael found other priests reviewing security tapes, who were shocked to see Marconi alive. Michael did not offer an explanation but instead asked about the shroud's protectors. The priest, Cardinal Vincent, had been responsible for protection but became unstable, discussing demonic beasts and secret cults, which people attributed to dementia. Michael was incredulous that priests didn't believe in what the Bible itself stated, and he demanded to know where Vincent had learned such things. Vincent was now living alone in an asylum as a hermit. As the village scientists worked to extract Jesus' DNA from the shroud, Michael traveled to the asylum and encountered Vincent, who was armed and frightened. As soon as Vincent touched Michael, he realized he wasn't just a priest and believed him when he claimed to be an angel. Vincent was aware of Liz's existence and showed Michael the villa they had constructed around the hall to assist her. While explaining that the asylum had been constructed as a lookout, Vincent revealed that the scriptures referred to Lucifer's eventual return and the need for two ancient beasts, one being the woman, presumably Liz, and the other the beast of the ground. For years, Lucifer's followers brought children for him to possess, but their human bodies were unable to contain him. They stole the shroud because they planned to clone Jesus, who has a body strong enough for Lucifer to possess. Michael is appalled and vows to stop them. Vincent drives Michael to the foot of Villa Mountain, where Michael's sword reacts to his presence. This allows Lucifer to pull on the chain and break free from the seal in the villa. Meanwhile, the women in captivity chat about their personal lives, and Laura reveals that she has lost her husband and child. The nurses return to take the girls, but the women try to defend themselves using their chains. Despite their efforts, more nurses arrive and overpower them. Brenda and Laura are taken to the surgery room, where the doctors implant fertilized eggs with Jesus' DNA into their uteri. Michael makes his way into the cave, while Laura and Brenda are dressed as brides and chained to a pillar at a gathering of Lucifer worshippers. After picking up the girls, the beast of the ground puts them inside a large birdcage. The cage is then lowered into a well that leads to hell. Demons appear and hold the women down while Lucifer transforms into his essence and enters Brenda through her mouth. Brenda resists for a few seconds but eventually dies. Lucifer then leaves her body and possesses Laura, who manages to survive the possession. Afterwards, Liz presents Laura as the chosen one and takes her to a glass cell with a bed and vital sign monitor. When Laura asks what's inside her, Liz says it's a better Jesus. Meanwhile, Michael finds a door in the cave tunnel and enters the villa, but gets shot in the shoulder when the guards notice him. Michael fights back and knocks out the guards before stealing a uniform and a pass. He gains access to the lab and retrieves the shroud, then checks the security cameras to locate Laura. Lauren enters the lab, but Michael pushes him against a table and demands answers. Lauren says he works for a new beginning, and Michael decides to blow up the lab with gas canisters and a flare to create a barrier between him and the guards. The fire alarm suddenly goes off throughout the entire building, causing panic. Laura desperately pleads with the nurse to let her leave her cell, but the nurse refuses. Just when Laura thinks she's trapped, Michael arrives and knocks out the nurse. Overjoyed at the sight of him, Laura assumes that Marconi, whom she believed to be dead, must be alive after all. However, Michael becomes distracted when he hears Lucifer speaking to him telepathically, taunting him about his newfound freedom. Confused about how his seal was broken, Michael becomes angry, causing Laura to think he might be an enemy. Frightened, she tries to escape, but Michael chases her down and takes her to safety in a nearby room. After convincing her that he's on her side, Michael tends to a bullet wound Laura received earlier. It's then that she tells him about the horrible things that were done to her. Determined to protect her, Michael decides to take her away with him. However, Liz, who sees them leaving, sends her henchmen after them. In an effort to keep Laura safe, she kills one of the guards. Michael and Laura attempt to flee through a cave tunnel, but the rapidly growing baby inside Laura causes her to become ill and slows them down. As they struggle to escape, they are attacked by a beast. Though Michael fights valiantly, his human body begins to fail him, and he is ultimately defeated. Liz and her henchmen capture Laura, and she threatens to harm the baby if they hurt Michael. But Liz reminds her that the priest is already dead, and that she needs to kill the angel too. Laura is taken back to her cell and tied to the bed, while Michael is chained in a room with a well. Michael uses his powers to break free from the chains, but this leaves him extremely weak. He drags himself to the well and jumps in before the beast can catch him. Once in hell, Michael is attacked by a demon but quickly pushes it away. He discovers a sword and is shocked to find it there. More demons arrive and use the sword to imprison Michael, the same way Lucifer was trapped years ago. Meanwhile, Laura's baby continues to grow at a supernatural speed. Liz informs Laura that this baby will replace the one she lost, but Laura refuses to give it the same name. During an ultrasound, Laura sees the baby on the screen and is shocked to see it crawl out and roar at her, but she wakes up realizing it was only a dream. Liz asks if Lucifer talks to her, but Laura doesn't respond. Liz then tells the story of how Lucifer fought against God, but Laura dismisses it, and Liz slaps her. Liz promises to free Laura after she gives birth, but demands respect for the time being. Later, a group of kids finds Michael on the rock, revealing that they are the failed sacrifices. A group of children have banded together to survive in a hellish environment, and Michael, their leader, promises to take them home if they can find a sword. However, the children are hesitant to trust Angel, another member of their group, due to his past association with Lucifer. During a conversation, the demons interrupt and the children scatter, but some are captured by the demons. Michael can only watch helplessly. Later on, Lucifer's essence briefly exits Laura's body and enters her mind through her ear, offering to help her get revenge for the murder of her family if she allows him to take control of her unborn child. Laura agrees, and she has a disturbing vision of bonding with the child. While a nurse is running tests, Laura kills the nurse, attacks another nurse until he dies. Afterward, Laura realizes the gravity of her actions and decides to kill the baby before it becomes any more dangerous. Lucifer pleads with her not to do it and calls her mother, but Laura ignores him and attempts to kill herself by drinking chlorine in a janitorial closet. Liz intervenes and tries to get help for Laura while chastising her for what she did to the baby. Laura, under the control of Lucifer, forcefully shuts the door and knocks Liz down, causing her to vomit on her face as punishment for her mistakes. Despite Liz's pleas for mercy, Lucifer refuses to release his hold on Laura's body and plans to kill everyone to keep his presence a secret. Later, Laura is placed in a healing pod, and Lucifer's essence departs from her body to communicate with a demon in hell and taunt Michael for his failure. The children witness this exchange, which serves as evidence of Lucifer's presence. Michael finally realizes why God is allowing these events to occur. Meanwhile, the children try to help by finding Michael's sword, but demons arrive and offer them freedom before they can give it to him. After recalling what they had heard, the kids hand over the sword to Michael. With the sword in hand, Michael briefly regains his old form and defeats the demons. After promising to return soon, Michael retrieves the shroud from Marconis' body and heads to the main building. Along the way, he incapacitates a guard and steals a weapon before checking on Laura. However, instead of finding her, he hears Lucifer's voice. Determined to help, Michael moves Laura's pod to another room but is seen by a nurse. He locks the door and opens the pod, trying to explain that the baby is not what Laura thinks. However, Lucifer interrupts him with a roar and guides Laura's body to stand over Michael, announcing that her water has broken and releasing liquid on him. Lucifer demands to be worshipped, but Michael resists. Michael reveals that God is allowing this because if Lucifer enters Jesus' holy body, Jesus will keep him under control and sealed forever. Furious, Lucifer throws a tantrum and knocks out Michael. When Liz arrives with guards, Lucifer orders her to kill the baby, but Liz assumes it is Laura speaking and has her taken to the altar on top of the well to hell. Meanwhile, Laura gives birth to the baby, and Liz immediately takes him away. Laura is left alone on top of a well, while the beast opens the lid and intends to make her fall before rejoining the others outside. Liz introduces their new savior to Lucifer's followers and announces that he will be baptized with blood instead of water. Then the beast proceeds to kill every follower, doctor, and guard. Meanwhile, Michael wakes up and breaks the window with his weapon to escape the room. He enters the well room and discovers Laura hanging on the edge. He helps her up before they team up to go after their enemy. Liz is attempting to leave with the baby in a car, but Laura jumps on her and attacks her before reaching for the child. Liz pleads for no harm to be done to Lucifer, but Michael explains that the baby is not Lucifer. God chose Laura, and she gave birth to what will become Lucifer's eternal prison. Laura gets into the car and drives away to find Vincent, while Michael stays to fight, knowing that the gates to hell are now open and the demons will attempt to escape. Michael rushes to the well and closes it, but the beast finds him and throws him aside to begin opening the well again. Michael discovers the explosives Liz left behind to eliminate the evidence and activates them, causing an explosion that destroys the facility and covers the hole with debris. Sometime later, Vincent takes Laura and their baby to the cathedral where they return the shroud. Meanwhile, Michael fulfills his promise to free all the kids by returning to hell. As years pass, Laura and Vincent live with the child in the asylum to ensure their safety. One day, Liz sneaks into the forest to spy on the family and attempts to call for Lucifer. However, when the devil tries to escape, the child absorbs him back into his body, effectively sealing him. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications for more videos like this. Thank you for watching.